it will depend on our belief system, but I feel like the old gods are here right now. Obviously, in the UK, everyone's been moaning about the sunshine and the heat. I mean, I love it here so much, but it's so annoying that everyone moans about the weather. They moan when it's cold, they moan when it's hot. It's just like, oh, can we be grateful for sunshine? We all need a bit of sun food. It's so good for the soul and the energy. But anyway, it's been creating some storms. People might have seen the electric storms, and I watched an incredible lightning show last night in the sky, and I was like, Zeus, and some very, very strong energy came up for me. A lot of channeling, a lot of just awe, and very powerful Gaia messages. And I trust that others, if we take the time to slow down and see the magic, it really is. I just feel like she's on a megaphone at the minute, because there's just a lot of messages coming through. I mean, a few examples since Solstice, since I did some drumming the day before as the portals aligned and the ley lines in the globe. As a grid worker, I like to call myself, but you know, everybody will have their own interpretation of that. But the ley lines opened, you know, in the hours, days preceding Solstice, and was drumming with a fantastic woman, and the hawk was overhead, and there were just some very beautiful little signs in the water. We did sort of an earth-based but riverside drum session, so there's some really, really beautiful, playful, fae-like energy as well. So that was one experience, and then Solstice itself brought out the dragons. Like, dragons are loud right now. So whether people do or don't believe they're just old folklore or whatever, or have existed and are in collective consciousness, if you're seeing and you're sensing messages, collect those, write them down, meditate on them, connect deeper, because there's great wisdom there, I believe, and I've worked with them, so I have a dragon protector, so that'll mean whatever it means to anybody else. It doesn't bother me. So that was Solstice. So that was a Saturday, and then the Sunday, the Solstice, and managed to have a dip in the water and do my offering and speak to who I need to, because it was just glistening. And even though it's a little bit colder than where I have just been in Kenya, it's magical on Solstice to really like recalibrate. It's a big marking, big marker in the middle of the year, and sets the tone for how we want to progress ahead. And so Old Gods and Dragons and this lightning show last night was just absolutely epic. And then I was with an elder this week, and one day I was inside and she was outside, and she's like, oh, I'm coming in, there's a swarm of bees. And I just thought, oh my God, this is like end times, you know, like the locusts when they come in the mummy, and it's just like, well, basically, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, not in this country anyway, and I know it's the start of summer and they'll be looking for a home, or I don't know where their queen was. But it was a very, very powerful moment. I mean, I've 5 to 10 minutes solid, they were just circling the house, and you could hear them before they arrived. You know, that was kind of really loud, like almost like a road level loud, this circling. And I just thought, wow, this is quite a powerful time to be alive right now. Gaia is on volume, on loudspeaker. And she came in the house, we shut the door, and I just observed it, and I thought, wow, there's so many messages to this in terms of the restoration of the matriarchy right now, why the feminine's rising. I mean, with the bee colony serving the queen, it felt, and also since I think it was it my sound bath, bee totems have just been out a lot, collective working together, whether we believe in the 144 or not, is that the activations are strong. Everybody seems to be doing their bit according to how they're being called for their missions. how we're all feeding into this beautiful transformative energy. And I talk about transformation because after the bees, then I was walking down the high street, and this huge, I mean, we're not near water directly, but I haven't seen one for ages, and maybe by the water on Solstice I did, but not in town. Huge glistening turquoise blue greeny dragonfly flew down the middle of the road and up to where I was, and I was like, I stopped and turned because it was just so magical, and I have a little connection to the dragonfly of something else, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And I think people around me were like, what's all the fuss about? But I took it as a message for me, because this is my reality. And I was like, wow. Then I turned around and carried on, and I was just like, dancing around with the music. And it followed me all the way to probably 2-3 minutes down the road, where I hopped into a shop, and I thought, wow, that's just a beautiful synchronicity, a beautiful connection. And we might be feeling it in other ways right now. You say women are hanging out together, their moon times align, and the energy of good souls, or souls who are working with their own personal magic right now, connect, or are guided to connect and are brought together. And really, without this sort of faith in nature, or a higher guidance system, or a higher power, and belief system and religion, and everyone is different, but I don't know how anyone's getting through the times we're living in without a desire to connect deeper to Gaia, because she's so vibrant and so loud right now, but also because of like the dreamscape, and because of just how much we're having to deal with as one being, and also a collective. Is we do have a spiritual support system, I believe, and 7-Eleven just come back on the clock, is this knowing, or this faith inside of us, has to be unwavering. Like it's we're so bombarded with information these days, and I don't want to keep talking about overstimulation, because you end up pulling yourself into the trap and just not getting out of it. But our ancestors never had to deal with, what Joe Blogs next door is doing, or this person here, this, and this new recipe, and what you've got to be eating, and this, that, and the other, and go to this place and you can't miss out there, and every single day. It's just too much. It's not sustainable right now. Like I've watched empaths or sensitives this week absorb things like a sponge and just flap about, because they've not been able to transmute the energy in a way that they can come back to the earth and ground and be still inside. And this is not a criticism, I've been there, but in terms of, if we know how sensitive we are to energy, then what boundaries are we putting in place? Like, how are we protecting ourselves? Because it can be very, very draining. And like watching this lightning show last night, for me, that was like a massive recharge. It was a surge of energy, and I felt it in the air, and I felt, well, firstly, I wasn't able to sleep very well because it felt electric. So it always takes me a while to, if I've been out all day, or if I've been in nature, it takes me a while to come down to this physical reality, because of how much I can be also electrified positively by recharged by these natural Gaia moments. And with all of these little messages, animal spirits delivering certain things, so from the hawk, overhead, and dragons, to the bee swarm, to the dragonfly, literally every day, there's just something there right now. And I trust that we're all tapping in our own way, in the ways that we're being called to, because it's really important. I believe it's really important for our spiritual development, our spiritual health. And people also don't always believe in that word spiritual health, because we're spirit beings, but it's a way to, I guess, differentiate between physical health, and mental health right now. is that there's support to be tapped into, and I trust that we can bring it into our everyday, really. I've found a lot of benefit. That's why I share here my little ribble rambles of my little downloads of how I receive the magic, or how observing and being in nature, connecting, enhances my own personal magic, and strengthens my faith, which is a practice. Everything is a practice now. Love, self-love, honouring the self, honouring the body, being mindful, excuse me, and watchful of what we're putting in ourselves, because the gut is a brain, affects our mood. Things are going a bit crazy here in terms of prices, so I understand we're all trying to minimise and find the best bargains, but I do think the best investment is our health, for longevity, and also for the nervous system. A lot of us are unknowingly, I don't know if I'm speaking for myself here or not, on a spectrum. ADHD, autistic, various different levels of, everybody has a level of neurodivergence, I believe. I think we're all created incredibly uniquely and from childhood, that the spiritual depth and the magic and the imagination that we are born into this realm with gets sort of tarnished and taken away over time. Because we're not taught that it's important and essential for our health and well-being through our lives. But anyway, this is getting a bit deeper and tangenty to what I'd intentionally wanted to come on and just say. There's messages in nature now. Gaia is on a huge call. I don't know, it's activation. But let's not miss it.